there is always some kind of plant or snails or something like that that is complete garbage to us, more or less. So if you asked me for some snails and some frog bit, for example, I'd be happy to let you have it, especially if you're just trying to get started. So
what's poppin', 10-gallon fish tank army? Good morning. It is bright and early, and today we got a couple things to do, but I'm out here in the backyard with my Rottweiler, my French Bulldog, and Coda over there eating some grass. We got some online orders to pack. Got a bodybuilding show to go check out. Go support one of my wife's friends. She's at Nationals trying to get her pro card. So we're going to go do that. And we're going to drop off on the way. Fish order that was put online, but someone local that I can just go ahead and drop it off to. So got a lot to do. Let's get after it. And tomorrow we are going to go tour one of my friend's fish rooms and show it off to you guys there. So let's get this show on the road. In one of my videos not too long ago, I introduced you guys to Zion, my ball python. He's doing great, been eating really well, super friendly, lovable little guy. But he's having a lot of fun. I try to bring him out as much as I can, 30 minutes a day and handle him. And he absolutely loves it and is having a blast. So I wanted to show you guys him. He's always a lot of fun. And cool snake, super lovable, friendly, cuddly, honestly. No signs of aggression at all, and just been handling him a ton. So super thankful and glad to have been able to get him. And makes me want to get another one. There was a white one that the breeder, Reptile Collective, he had. And I kind of wanted to get that one as well. So might have to get it. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the next clip. We're going to go bag the fish up. Where are you going there, Zion? All right, so we have the order packed up. You guys can see here we got 15 Neocaridina shrimp culls. We got 3 assassin snails. We have a Mexican dwarf crayfish, 3 of the gold laser cories, 3 stir-bys, 2 pandas and an albino cory, Amazon sword and red flame sword, some water wisteria, and valsinaria. Now I need to quickly bag up the fish I'm going to be trading with my friend, who we're going to go over to his fish room. I'm bringing him some cherry barbs and some rummy nose tetras. So we're going to get those bagged up and we're going to hit the road here soon. So let's get these guys ready to go. Trying to deliver the fish, and there's about 6,000 dogs outside my car. Hopefully they're friendly, so we're gonna try and drop this box of fish off and not get bit, but they're outside all barking at my car. Just finished dropping the fish off. I left it in a box on the back of a four-wheeler. There was about 20 dogs. Half of them were not in any sort of back fence or on leashes or anything. They were just running around barking aggressively at me, and I didn't want to risk dying. That was definitely a bit of a sketchy situation. Not something I typically do. I normally will ship things through USPS or have people come pick it up for me, or I'll meet up somewhere. But I was not expecting to run into a pack of like 30 dogs. That was not something I was planning on doing today. But now we're headed over to the fish room. So we're going to do a fish room tour today, have a lot of fun with it, and excited to show that to you guys. So let's get on over there. Hey, what's poppin', guys? Josiah Brandon here with 10gallonfishtanks.com. I'm here with Daniel, and we are here at his fish room today. Super excited to come check it out. I met him through Music City Aquarium Society and our Nashville Fish Keeper page, where we're doing the little guppy breed, or not guppy, white cloud breeding challenge.
Yep.
And so we're doing that over the summer, seeing how many white clouds we can breed. But I want to kick it over to you. I have a couple questions for you here first, while we get into it. So this is how long you've been doing like the fish keeping hobby right now?
Well, my fish keeping hobby started back in like 2012 when my parents got some fish because I begged them for it. And this was back, it wasn't before the internet, but it was at the time they didn't think that if they had a fish problem that they should Google it. And they got some fish, followed all the rules, fish kept dying, and they ended up spending hundreds of dollars finally succeeding-ish in keeping some fish alive by purchasing filtered, or what was it? Aquarium water from our local fish store.
Okay.
Constantly. They never figured out they knew how cycling worked, but they didn't know where cycling came from. And that was the end of it for years. Until last year, or what was it? It was January of 2023, the wife decided that she wanted a beta. Okay. And I was like, okay, maybe I can get back into it, but I've learned I have a history here.
This was 2023, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so not that long. You've
No,
gone all these tanks and
I have ADHD and I go all in and it's a problem. But here we are. But we got two betas and it went from one of those horrible dual. At the time, it was a 6-gallon tank that was split in half, and it had a waterfall, and I thought that it was okay because it wasn't too big, and I was just following what PetSmart told me, which was a mistake, and then I figured out it was a mistake pretty much within 36 hours of purchasing them when I was noticing they weren't looking so hot. Went deep diving, figured out how everything worked, and kept the fish alive for quite a while, eventually got to 6-gallon tanks, for the beta fish, and then of course wanted to put other fish with the beta fish, and got some cory cats and some snails, which worked well actually. And then we expanded into 2 10-gallon tanks, and then that was my that was the beginning of the obsession, and all of that was in Birmingham. Wow. And then when I come back up here, I scrounged through my parents' basement and discovered we have another 30-gallon tank. So I got a 30-gallon tank and a 10-gallon tank, and it just exploded from there, and now I've got 31 tanks, and what can I say? It's just a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So he has more tanks than I do, guys. Right now I think I'm sitting at 29. So you got a couple more than I do.
We both, it's the addiction. Although actually I think I might need to do a recount because I've got like 1 or 2 tanks that are sitting waiting to be used. Yep. I don't know. It's when people ask how many tanks do you have?
A lot.
If you have to think about your answer, you might have a problem, and I have to think about it.
So similar to him, so I got into the hobby about 2 years out in Dallas, where I got into it again. So I got into it when I was in college because I couldn't have any other pets. And I started watching Corey from Aquarium Co-op. Yep. Watched his stuff, got super into it, started breeding guppies, had to sell it off when I started moving around for work. Moved out to Dallas, and they have a crazy fish hobby out there. They have the Aquashella that I went to. That's where I went to one of them for I was probably like 3 months in the hobby. Wow. Went to Aquashella and I was mind blown. And then they had some crazy shops out there too. So I kind of got into it. And then when we moved out here, got a house, my garage, told my wife, hey, I'm turning this into a fish room. She kind of wanted like a gym in the garage. And I was like, no, it's going to be a fish room. I'm going to make it for profit. And that's how my crazy fish room ended up starting. And now, of course, of year and a half, it's gotten out of control. So
yeah, you and I have got a very similar mindset. We both have the similar ideas of what we want to do, but we've gone about it in different ways. So it's been really fun watching you is kind of like watching what I think is like the right way to do it. I've been doing it the cheap, what do you call it, like foot half out the door, like, do I really want to do all this? And I know that I do, but I just can't drop a few $1,000s when I know I probably should. So instead I'll spend $200 here, $100 here, and then throw it all away and buy another $600 once I hate it. We'll get into the details there, but yeah, it's been funny.
Yeah, so it was a big cool, another really cool, awesome setup. Super impressed here. He's got it all throughout his house. So we're going to kind of deep dive into it. We're going to hook him up with the mic here and have him start walking us through it. I'm probably going to have a lot of questions because it's a pretty cool setup. He's got some breeding going on. And you just shared that you had your first sale on eBay. Is that correct?
Yes, what was it? Just last week, I did my first test ship to there was a local lady who was going to buy some fish from me, but she lived like 2 hours away. So we were trying to figure out how to meet up and ship her or get her those fish. And I decided, because watching your stuff, I was like, man, trying to meet people in person is just going to be so difficult. Yeah. So I talked to some people and tried to figure out how to ship, felt pretty confident, and asked her, hey, if I paid for the shipping, would you be interested in trying it? And after trying it, with the fish I ship, which is mostly cory cats and smaller nano fish, it really doesn't seem that bad. And I'm actually able to offer $10 flat rate shipping anywhere in the U.S.
Wow.
As long as it's not within too big of an order, but details.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna have some questions for you on that. I do some shipping as well, but that's awesome. That's really cool. Did you, with the weather right now being a little warmer, did you have to worry about any of that, or you weren't too concerned?
I didn't have to worry about it. I'm thinking about it right now with this person. But thankfully, I think it's mostly in Tennessee. I literally just got the order a couple hours ago, so I need to look at the weather for their location. But in general, my understanding is, since USPS has mostly air-conditioned facilities, the only risk would be in like the last few hours of them receiving it.
When they get it to their...
Yeah, and thankfully the fish that I'm shipping are pretty tolerant of warmer temperatures, especially with the insulation. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm by no means an expert, but I have learned enough from doing it and researching that sooner or later you're going to have to just try it, and you might fail, but I think I've got this pretty well down.
When you do fail, you learn from it.
And unfortunately, yes. What was that saying that Nick from, what was it? Keeping Fish Simple said? The path of a breeder is paved with many lives, or something like that. And it's unfortunate, but it is true.
Yeah, when you kind of watch this hobby, it's kind of interesting, because even the top breeders, top fish hobbyists, they still lose fish.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as part of the hobby, we try to minimize them as much as possible, making sure we keep them in good conditions, keeping everything as optimal as possible. But it does happen, unfortunately. It's kind of part of the hobby that, things happen, and fish are a little fragile.
That's why I try to make everything more of an ecosystem with snails and what have you, because if any fish is lost, the thing I hate most is that fish went to waste. And so if my fish is at least being eaten by snails, at least something is getting to benefit from the tragedy of that loss. So
that's awesome. See, same thing, try to create ecosystems, snails, shrimp, plants. So I love, planted community tanks, things like that. It's good to see. Last question for you, and then we'll dive into it. But what was your eBay account, in case people want to go check it out?
Oh, I believe it is, I should look it up.
He's going to look it up
for you guys. It should be Fisher's Fish Room.
Fisher's Fish Room?
Yes, spelled Fischer, because someone in my lineage decided that a C would be cool. I don't know.
Awesome. Guys, I'm going to link it in my description down below. If you guys want to go support this local hobbyist out here in Tennessee, and order some stuff from him, check the link down below, hit him up on eBay, and hopefully you guys can have some of these fish in your room. I brought him some fish that he's going to be putting in his tanks, and then he's going to be sending me home with some stuff today. So super excited. Let's get right into it.
This top left tank, and you'll notice that there's a mixed match of sizes, and everything doesn't look as perfect as yours looks, because unfortunately this has been cobbled together over a pretty long period of time. So my original idea basically was I wanted to have a cheap rack, and after doing much research, I decided that cinder blocks and wood was the cheapest way to go. This rack itself actually only cost like $50, maybe. Wow. It was not that much, and it's overbuilt too with how many 2x4s there are.
Yeah, you have a lot more than most people have.
Yes, I just put them there because this is my bedroom on the second floor, and I would hate for this to... I don't want anything to go wrong, and it's like, I could drop $10 extra and be happy. And there's like no construction in this either. So this thing can be taken apart and moved anywhere. There's nothing permanent about it. It's amazing. But because of that, the sizing is all a bit weird. So I just measured it, and I was like, oh, I can either have a 10-gallon tank and have a gap of empty space, or I have an extra 20-gallon, so I'll just throw it there. Same thing with the tops of these things. So like these are different brands. Apparently, they're all about the same dimensions, the different brands, but the heights apparently can be a little different. Go figure. But this is a 20-gallon tank that's just got some hornwort, which, fun fact about hornwort, I hate it. Everyone loves it, so I grow it, but it's only reason I hate it is because if it's unhappy, it sheds. And it is some of the most... You think duckweed is bad. It's just the worst. Hairs everywhere. But inside here, we've got some cherry barbs, which I'm getting some more from Josiah here, which is pretty awesome. You might notice the carcasses of mini snails. This is because I used to have a pufferfish in here. So, and again, this is all lazy pretty much. The snails' shells are not hurting anyone, and I'm not bothered enough to take them out. So here they are.
And you got Pothos up top?
Yep, I've got Pothos running around in all of my tanks. Sometimes it lives, sometimes it dies. I haven't figured out why. I just keep it in all the tanks that I can.
And then for lighting on this tank, this just looks like a normal.
This is a
desk lamp or something.
Yeah, you can see I got this at like American Thrift in Birmingham like a few years ago, and everything here has been hodgepodge together pretty much. I would love to put a better light on it, but again,
hey, it's doing the job.
Do I want to spend $20-$30 for another light? And the answer is no, I don't.
Hey, that's working, right?
Yeah, exactly. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The filters are the cheapest budget filters that I could find. Do I recommend them? Yes, but with a caveat. It's like $20 for 4 filters that they rate at like 40 gallons per filter. And they're a sponge filter. They're great. They're a fine mesh, so they get it nice and clean. And the only caveat is that, as with all of the suction cups in the industry, they slowly come off sometimes. And I'm trying to figure out how to fix that, but they do work really well.
You got these probably off what, Amazon?
Yeah, at Amazon. I can send you the link for them if you'd like. They are very nice for the price.
Yeah.
My personal reason that I like them so much is that cleaning sponge filters is such drag for me, because you pull it out and you have to mess with the hose and where you're going to put the hose, and I've accidentally siphoned water onto the ground and yada, yada, yada. But with that one, you can just grab it, pull the sponge off, clean it, and put the sponge back on. And it's amazing.
It looks like a little finer. Does it clog up very often, or how?
It depends. It does not clog up super often. It depends on the tank. On my bottom rack, which we'll get to in a moment, I did run into some clogging issues, which they're probably not the most durable. I've had these for almost 2 years now. So, again, they are the best budget bulk to get something out there and do the job very well. But as far as longevity is concerned, a coarser sponge would be nice. So maybe I'll design my own and fix the problems and be a millionaire. But
there you go.
One can only hope. And then you'll notice on all these tanks, I put not duckweed, but frogbit in every single one of them, because
You're like me with that. I do the same thing.
I'm extraordinarily lazy, especially when it comes to this many tanks. So we call it efficient as opposed to lazy now. But I thankfully have hard water. It's not city water, so I don't have to deal with water conditioners. And as far as everything's concerned, if my tanks are cycling with my sponge filters and I've got duckweed or frogbit, duckweed is another problem. Sometimes it'll do it though. But I've got frogbit in all these tanks to act as my duckweed to keep everything clean, because for me, I want to be able to look into the tank and see all my fish. And so floaters are the only way to go as far as keeping my tanks clean is concerned.
So on these 10-gallon tanks, you only pretty much do, from what I'm seeing, moss and frogbit.
More or less, yeah. It depends on just whatever I have that I throw in there. Because anytime I toss, this is my project rack, mostly, not really for aesthetics. So anything I put in these tanks, I have to consider, 1, will it grow? Number 2, is it going to be a pain in the butt to move? Because when I try to catch fish, so I've had some hardscape in these things before, and I've learned, don't do that. Yep. It's hard.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm sure you figured that out, because you'll notice this is a large gap. I tried having the smaller gap that everyone recommends.
Yep.
No, because here's a fun fact. Just because you can reach in there and clean your tank doesn't mean you're going to, especially when your tank is cloudy and the fish are fine, but it bothers you. If it's harder to do, I'm just not going to do it.
For sure. Yes, you got nice space. Where my rack, if you guys notice on my rack, I have only about 7 inches or so from my rack to be able to do. You got probably like 1.5 feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's I don't remember what the actual measurement was, but it was a good amount.
Yeah.
This first tank that we've got here is, I ran out of tanks, so I've added 2 other tanks since then, but this tank right here, I had a bunch of fish breeds, so I've combined them all. But at the moment, we've got zebra danios, and it's amazing seeing how many different sizes there are, because they all hatched at the same time, which is strange. We've also got some Florida flagfish in there. Really? You don't really see them as often because they like to just kind of sit in the back. You can see some.
Bronze Cory.
You can see some right there. Those are actually Florida flagfish. Okay. There are some albino Cory cats, which this is the first time I've gotten my albino Cory cats to breed for me, actually. Not too many, so it's going to be kind of hard to sell them online because you've only got a few. But we should have some longfin peppered cory cats and some bronze cory cats in there. So
I see one hiding down right there.
Literally everything that could breed bred, and I just tossed it all in here.
Wow. It seems like they're all doing well.
Oh yeah, this is probably my favorite tank to watch, just because every day they're a different size and a different behavior. It's amazing. And then this tank right over here is some concolor black Venezuelan cory cats or slate cory cats. These are a project tank. They were wild caught, so they're going to be interesting to try to trigger to breed. And unfortunately, I got them from the importer, and the importer was testing out a new water conditioner and accidentally messed it up. And so when I first got them in, they had like chemical burns on them, and it was a whole deal of trying to heal them. And I bought 10 and I lost 6, and then he gave me the rest of his, which was like 6 more. And at the end of all of it, I was left with this total of, I think, 6 or 7 now, which it's pretty sad statistics, but at the same time, I was able to heal a few of them. And if you know anything about treating fish, it's not normally a game of how many fish do you heal, it's a game of can I heal any of them, unfortunately. And so I've been letting them sit and relax before I actually try to do anything with them. And then over here is some Sturbe cories in the back, and the zebra danios. Now these Sturbe cories came from that importer, and they're doing great. So I've got no hard feelings with the guy.
Is this your breeding group of zebra danios?
Yes, at the moment, and I bought those from Music City Aquatics, so they were ready to breed just right out of the box, pretty much. And there are some fat ones. I need to give them something to breed into, but I also need someone to take my danios. So it's a fun one. And then that importer gave me some more cory cats over here, and unfortunately, I don't know what type they are. He didn't really know either, so I'm probably just going to put them in my community tank and be happy with them, because, it's kind of hard to sell fish or give fish to people if they don't know what it is.
I've seen that one on a website, so I'll have to pull it up and send it to you.
Yeah,
so I can probably get you the name of that, because I've seen it.
Oh, gotcha. Before. So I know there's a couple in there that are like a Virginie cory cat, but then I know that the other 5 are some other type that I don't know. So weird numbers. It is what it is. Then over here we've got the Josiah special, the White Cloud Mountain Minnows, which I will forever regret not getting the other longfin ones. But again, money. I would have no money if I got my way on everything. And all of these tanks are running off the same kind of system, the same sponge filters in the back. Some of them have heaters. This one doesn't have a heater because, again, money.
And white clouds don't need it. So.
And white clouds don't need it, and which is awesome. Yeah. And the Florida flagfish don't either, which is nice. But yeah, each of these tanks, as far as the cost of the rack is concerned, the rack was like $50 to $100 if you include paint, nails, yada, yada, yada. But each tank themselves runs me like $18 for the tank, about $5. We'll round up, about $5 for the filter. I was able to get super cheap heaters, but now I'm scared of them, so I upgraded to like the $20 heaters. So $20 per tank, and then the sand, I get the black sand from Tractor Supply, so it's like $5 for the sand.
Can't beat it. How much is a bag of sand? Like, is it a 50-pound bag? Or?
It's a 50-pound bag of sand, and they recently increased their price. It used to be like $7, and then they got wise, and they've increased to $12, which is still a steal.
Yeah, if you go to Petco or PetSmart, you get like a 5-pound bag for about the same price.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, but yeah, this one right here, one 50-pound bag fills up 3 tanks for me pretty well. Wow. And if you did half that amount, you could fill up like 6. So it's insane. So each tank you're in for less than $100. So that's pretty great. That's why I talk to all my friends. They're like, I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on fish. And I'm like, no. You just need to know the tricks, because it doesn't have to be that expensive.
Exactly. Very budget oriented if you want to.
Exactly.
And then if you want to go expensive, you can.
Yes. There's plenty of people that know the expensive routes. I don't. These 2 are brand new that I just set up just the other day, actually. And then this tank on the far right is there ain't nothing in that. That is a wasteland tank. I put plants in there with no heater and no filter, and then they started to die, and yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
And you're using a lot of Java moss?
Yes, the reason the Java moss is in this tank actually is, now that I think about it, is I'm trying to hatch fish in the White Cloud minnow tank, and when I dump them over out of the egg trap into this room, I've noticed a lot of the eggs are inside the moss. So I'm just dumping all the moss in there, and the babies will love the moss too. So that's kind of, this is going to be a moss tank and a baby tank. At least hopefully. We haven't had any hatch yet, so. But I've only been doing it for a couple days, so we'll see.
There you go. And then other question for you: you have a lot of rocks, like little rock piles here. What's the reason for that?
The rock piles are, I wanted something to look prettier, and rocks look kind of nice, but they're also not super good hiding spots. So I just put some in there. I actually got some more rocks. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do about it. Your tanks look so dang good. It bothers me so much that I can't figure out how to make it look that good. So we're still figuring out our system, but the rocks are a slight attempt at not just having a bigger tank.
All right, we're looking at row 2 now.
Yeah, these are my what do you call it? This gravel right here. Warning: Tractor Supply has 2 colors of blasting sand. This is the wrong color. This is why people tell you not to get it, because it's extremely fine. So it really clogs up things, and it's the worst color imaginable. It says black. I don't know what that is. It's not black. It's just bad. But it works, and it'd be so hard to get it out. But this is my oldest colony of Cory cats. These are my bronze Cory cats, and they are for some reason the most timid right now, which I haven't figured out why, because they're the ones that like to breed the most. But what you'll notice is this is a matin filter. See, I was having issues in these breeding tanks with the clogging, partly because I feed them so much, which makes sense because you're trying to breed them. So I wanted to have a coarser sponge, and eventually I figured that I could get the cost of getting a coarser sponge filter was going to be just more expensive than I wanted to pay for, and I'd rather have a matin filter for the same kind of utility. And I figured out that I could actually retrofit my sponge filters with a matin filter by basically, if you look back here, it's just a regular sponge filter that I used. I don't know if you're able to see it.
Yeah, especially over there.
It's pretty hard to see. But basically, I just took my sponge filter, took the sponges off of it, and then punched the hole, like the output through it.
Okay.
And it's probably not the most efficient, it's not the most efficient matin filter system. They make things designed for it. But it's way more efficient than my sponge filter was otherwise, and I've already got a component of a regular matin filter. So, again, everything I do, trying to take a step in the right direction without having to take the full step, because otherwise I'd be broke. You're noticing on a trend here.
Yeah, I like it. And did you, sponge material, where did you get that from?
I got that on Amazon, actually. Okay. It was not a bad price for 6 of these filters, and I have some leftover sponge, which is an awkward size. It'd be good for hang-on back filters. But each one of those sponges was like, I think it was like $16, $17. Wow. So $7 to $8 a filter is not that bad at all.
No, that's not bad.
Unfortunately, I Googled Chinese websites and sound dampening websites and everything I could find, because it's like, sponge shouldn't be that expensive, but apparently it is. Yeah. And you'll also notice the way that I like to breed my Cory cats, and a lot of people don't do this, is I do a water change, and I have hard water, so I actually have to use RO water to get the water hardness low enough for the eggs to hatch, because the eggs will actually harden. Wow. But as a result, I just use the RO water to help trigger them. But what I do is that when I'm triggering them, I also turn on these little power heads. And these little power heads are like $5. They're so cheap. And I have it set to the light timer, and it just augments the current in the tank. And the Cory cats just go crazy, and they will pretty much super reliably breed within a day or two of having it on. And also, even if you're not trying to breed Cory cats, they love the water flow. And you'll see in this tank, they're not doing anything. But if I turned that power head on, they would start swimming in the current and schooling up. And if you've got lazy Cory cats, just give them something to do, and it's the best thing ever, I swear.
Wow. And you said these were only $5?
Yeah, they're like $5 or $6. Wow. I mean, they're extremely cheap.
Yeah, that's cool. I was wondering why you had those on there. That's cool.
Yeah, they're great. And then this one right here is a longfin Cory cat tank. They are very heighty right now. We'll have to try and get some B-roll later, and I'll put some food out so maybe they can come out for you, because they are very cute.
I know.
Yeah. And I got some Vallisneria in there. I don't know how that Vallisneria is growing because I've got some other tanks where the Val is not growing well. There's no root tabs. You can see the roots. It is such a thin layer of gravel or of sand. I don't know how it's working, but this is where I sell my Val from because it just keeps growing in here.
That's great. And then, hey, one question I had on this next tank here, and I've seen it in multiple of your tanks that I haven't seen before. You got bobblers with some yarn. Walk me through that. Yes,
I bought them from Carl's son. Carl is he's not officially a master breeder, but he might as well be a master breeder at the Music City Aquarium Society. And his son made these little mops, which are just some yarn with a bobber on the end. I don't know if that's his idea, but it's freaking brilliant.
That's awesome.
And what's funny is my Cory cats don't lay in mops at all. They only lay on the backs or on the sides of the glass. But I've noticed that they like to lay behind the mops. So I put mops in there to get them to breed. And there you go.
Very cool.
This tank is not as clear, and it's not a chemical or it's not a hardware problem. I think it's a filtering issue that I'm having to deal with. So in general, when I'm having a cycle issue, I just basically swap out a sponge from one of my other tanks and give it a blood transfusion, as it were, and within a couple days it'll clear up. So why it happened, I have no idea. But the chemical stick says it's good, but clearly I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. One issue that I run into is because, again, me being cheaper, is that these lights are extremely bright, and they are grow lights from when I actually used to grow seed starts for my garden outside.
Okay.
And so I was able to reuse them, reduce, reuse, recycle. So they are extremely proficient at growing plants. These guys right here, we've got some spiky moss, and these are 5-gallon tanks because this is what I could fit. And we've got some killifish gardneri, I believe that is the type that they are called. They are extremely skittish, and I haven't hatched any eggs from them yet, but I know they've laid eggs. I've got too many tanks for me to act. I've got too many projects, not enough tanks to put everything in. So suffering from success in some ways. And we've got some spiky moss in there, which is pretty cool. It's definitely one of my favorites, actually. This tank, we've got 4 Florida flagfish that I got from a friend of mine. And they are, again, very prolific breeders, apparently. They're quite pretty. They're pretty cool. I don't know a whole ton about them because I've only ever kept them in this tank, but they are quite rambunctious little guys. Let's see if we can show you a couple of them. Surprisingly pretty. I'm proud that they are the only native to United States breed that I have, because it's always interesting to keep something in your house that's native to where you live.
Yeah, I got some pygmy sunfish, and
yes,
those guys are fun.
They look so awesome. That's something else that I would love to get at some point. But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're kind of like Cory cats if they didn't sit actually on the ground, because they don't really swim much around. It's kind of weird. Ooh. We got over here. This is my baby tank for the longfin pepper Cory cats. I thought I had a lot more in here, but when I put the matin filter on, I realized there's not quite that many. And they seem to all be hiding. Again, we'll have to get some food out for them to... Or actually, I'm going to be catching these out for you, so we'll just be able to do it that way.
Cool. You got a bunch of bronze.
Yes.
Wow.
These are older. These are an older batch, but they're starting to catch up with these guys. They are crazy. They can't even see each other. They're just doing crazy stuff. So these are my favorite guys to look at. Not really much to say about them except that I raised all of them from eggs, and yeah, I've practically got a Cory cat infestation, but I've got no problems with it. I mean, they just look at them. How can you not love it?
Cory cats are like little puppy dogs. They swim around and just are fun, peaceful fish.
Oh yeah, I love it. This tank right here, notice how little of a gap there is here? This is because I already owned the 20-gallon. Otherwise, I would have put a 10-gallon here, and I needed a place to put it. And since I don't want to bother with it, this is basically the plants that I don't care about so much go in here, because there's an apple snail in here, and he'll eat everything. And of course, he'll go after the plants that you love the most and paid the most for. So I just put things I can't kill, like Anacharis, for example, and any leftover algae and what have you. And we have one bronze Cory cat that at some point during me painting my tanks jumped out and ended up in here, I guess. I don't know how he got there. And that apple snail, where is he?
See that big one down there at the bottom?
No.
It's bigger.
You think that's big? Where is he? He is a giant. He crawled out. I just saw him today. Mm-hmm. Oh, there he is. He's on the back. See? Now that's a snail.
Oh yeah, he's hiding up. Wow, that is a big snail.
And this is the most spoiled beta in the world, having a 20-gallon tank basically all to himself.
Living its best life.
Oh yeah, he's a beautiful guy. And then these are 2 pairs of gold angelfish amongst their babies. Don't give them too much credit. They would have killed their babies if they had the choice. But I took the eggs out, raised the eggs, grew up the babies, and then put them back with the parents. And you can see them doing their little territorialness. Angelfish are not, they're not a territorial fish, but they really like to claim their breeding spot. So, are they a territorial fish? No, they don't care about sharing their space. But when they're trying to lay eggs, they do care about their space. And the problem is, they like to lay eggs pretty often. And if you have more than a pair of angelfish, you're pretty much just going to have them laying eggs all the time. In my 75-gallon tank, I've got like 6 pairs of angelfish. So we're pretty much, someone's fighting over a corner at least once a week. And no one gets hurt, but there's lots of feelings that are hurt. But the tank's big enough, they've got places to hide. It's just always funny when you wake up and look at your tank and there's 2 angelfish on one side and everyone else on the other. It's like, all right, we got babies again. And this is my wife's request. We got ourselves some axolotls here. We've got 4 axolotls, and I haven't figured out what I want to do for decoration. This is not a decorative tank. This is more of a functional tank. This is Spot right over here. This is Salt, which would be funny given his appearance. Yeah. But you see, I had two black looking wild type axolotls, and we named them Salt and Pepper. And unfortunately, Pepper decided in the middle of the night at some point to jump out of his little tank.
Oh no!
And I woke up to that sadness.
Wow.
And no one talks about axolotls jumping, but if they have a fin, they can. Nothing was wrong with the water. I think my dog might have just spooked him or something like that. So ever since then, I've put lids on my baby axolotl tanks. But now we have a fish or an axolotl whose name is Salt and looks nothing like Salt. Then we've got Axel. He's the original of them all, hence the original name of Axel. He's pretty cute. And then in the tank in the cave all the way over here, this is the prime real estate. Everyone loves this little guy, or this cave. This is Rex. He is our rescue axolotl.
Wow.
He is doing very good. He came to us. His left side had like no gills, and now they've all filled out, and they're nice and red and looking good.
He's looking happy and healthy.
Oh yeah, he is a hog. He is a ham for the food. Let me drop you some food for them. Have you seen an axolotl eat before?
I have not.
They are the strangest in the comparison to fish. They kind of just pop. See if I aimed it right. Oh, he hid. You're the guy who always eats. All right, we'll try you. Come on, someone do good.
Oh.
Maybe you do it? This is the game that I play.
Like, no food today.
You're being so finicky. They're usually begging me for food. All right, you're holding still. The problem is sometimes they're eager for the food, and then they,
Oh, we tried to get it. You missed it.
Yeah, they're not that great at it. All right. It's always a problem of how many pellets of food can I put in there without fouling the water? Because I swear, they are just not good at catching them, and they don't seem to eat it off the ground either. So, I don't know. But they do well. Everything works out. But yeah, they're derpy.
This water needs to be cooler. What's the ideal water temperature for axolotls typically?
Ideal water temperature is typically, from my understanding, between 62, 63, and 68 degrees. Okay. The acceptable water temperature is kind of anything below 70. And you really don't want fluctuations if you can help it. Now, Tennessee, right now, we're going through a heat wave right now. Yep. So this tank is sitting at 69, and I've got it going. You can typically get the water temperature to go down 2 to 3 degrees with a fan, and then you're able to get it to go down another 2 to 5 degrees with a chiller. This is not an official chiller. This is a DIY mini fridge setup. You can look up mini fridge axolotl chiller or mini fridge aquarium chiller. There's some YouTube videos out there. it works if you're okay living with the existential dread that this could leak at some point. And that would be bad.
Yeah.
But if you've ever looked at how expensive an aquarium chiller is, you might consider it.
Yeah.
Because, oh my lord. Either sitting in that hide or that hide. And I did all this work with all this stuff that I found out in my yard, and he's finally doing a thing. Yay. It's nice seeing, it's great seeing your creatures actually use what you gave them, you know? That's Tina. Tina the gecko. I haven't named them. My wife named all of our reptiles, and so why she's named Tina, the world may never know. And then we got Roger with his tail. His little carrot tail. I assume he dropped it with his from his previous owners at some point, but he's pretty cute.
How long have you had these guys for?
I've only had them less than a month at this point. We got them very recently.
Very cool.
The previous owner was keeping them in like one was in a 5-gallon tank, the other was in a 10-gallon tank, and
man.
yeah, I don't think they were giving them heat lamps or anything, and yeah, it was unfortunate. So thankfully he gave them to me, and now technically they recommend now to have them in 40-gallon tanks, but they seem to be doing very well in their 20-gallon tanks. So in the future, I went with 20 gallons because 20 gallons are probably one of my favorite tank sizes besides 10 gallons. So in the future, if I felt that they needed to have an upgrade, I would give them the 40s and take this. But at the moment, they they seem pretty good. Seem pretty good indeed. So this is the most active that I've seen her. They usually just hide in their little cave and are content to be left alone. But they're coming into their own, so maybe they will need a 40-gallon at some point. I don't know.
Start running around.
Yeah.
And you got a tank here in your bathroom.
Yes. You'll figure out that once you have the fish tank addiction, you'll look at every place as where can I find real estate?
Where can I put another tank?
Exactly. This is just some 3D printed decorations, and we got some swordtails, platies, indlers, guppies, just pretty much every live bearer that exists besides mollies. They're in there. I also got a bunch of Cory cats in there as well from my first batch of breeding, and got some brown mystery snails, which is a mystery because I never bought brown mystery snails, so I don't know how I got them, but I have them now. So
must have come in on some plants.
I don't know. I ain't complaining about it.
Do you do 3D printing yourself, or did you buy the 3D printing stuff?
I do have a 3D printer myself. I do not 3D model well because that requires a lot of skill. But I do have a 3D printer, and it's been surprisingly useful for aquarium stuff. You can 3D print practically anything for the aquarium, and it's quite handy.
Tanks are cool.
Yeah, these are more of our aesthetic tanks. They're the ones that are more out here in public. This is the Weiss tank. Normally it's blue, but I made it look white so that we can see it on camera. But its normal shade normally looks like this, the classic neon. Unfortunately, we had to patronize Petco for a lot of these fish because it turns out fish breeders don't typically breed glowfish. Go figure. But that being said, they're actually pretty cool. I have to admit, doing research into glowfish, they're not like, what do you call it? They're not like they're being injected with dyes or anything. It's just some sort of crazy... It was some sort of DNA splicing that they did, and then now they're just being bred. So it's a straight up genetic trait. If you were to breed two of the same color, you would get that color. So yeah, it's just a normal fish now at this point, which is nice because
I thought they were still injected.
No, they do that in Thailand apparently, and some of those other more less reputable places. But as far as in the United States, this is all natural.
Black metal lace guppy.
Yes, these are. Black metal lace guppy. That I think I'm going to trust that actually. I thought they were black Moscow, but I wrote those down from the package. So there you go. But yeah, they finally laid a few eggs or a few babies for me, which makes me very happy because I was going through a guppy drought. And actually there's some more in there.
I see a bunch in there. Yeah.
They just laid those like yesterday then. And we've got some more spiky moss, which I'm quite a fan of. And there's actually pygmy Cory cats in here as well. So hopefully we will.
I love pygmies. Those are my favorite.
Me too. They're surprisingly expensive, but they're also really nice, and so I want to breed them.
Yeah, I have some albino pygmies coming in this week.
I did not know they made that.
I didn't either. I found them. I was like, wow. I'll put them on my order list.
The more you know. And then this tank right here is my Pleco Haven. I haven't really tried breeding plecos, but I hear they like water flow, so I added this jet, and I hear they like caves, so I 3D printed a bunch. Originally, they had 4 caves, and 2 of them got filled with sand, so instead of cleaning them out like a normal person, I just said I'll make them some more, I didn't think they would complain about it, and they certainly have not. It's always a joy just seeing their little tail swishing around inside there.
What type of plecos are these?
These are, as far as I know, the blue-eyed lemons.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Blue-eyed lemons.
Bristle nose. We got 2 males, 2 females.
Cool.
Pretty cute.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything in this tank yet. I haven't figured out what I'm going to put in it. It used to have a pair of angelfish, and one of the angelfish mysteriously passed away. So, no idea what happened to it, but lost his wife. Now he's in the community tank where he has many more suitors. So we'll probably put another pair of angelfish in here, or maybe some baby angelfish when the time comes. Hard to say.
We got 75 here.
Yeah, this is my 75-gallon decorative tank. It's got more plants than I remember. I have to send pictures to Tanner, our plant expert in the Music City Aquarium Society, because whenever these things grow big enough and I need to take some out and sell them, I don't remember what they are. Shame on me, I know, but I do my best. We've got a lot of fish in here. So I picked up a mixed bag of fish one time from somebody that was moving out of state. So I ended up with mixed angelfish, some cory cats. We've got some harlequin, rasboras, giant zebra danios, which I love. I've got there. You wouldn't believe it. There is like 30 to 40 neon tetras / cardinal tetras in this tank.
Wow.
You don't see them.
No.
They just hide. This thing's got so many hiding spots and it's so big you'd think they'd be out, but no, they just hide.
Pufferfish?
Yep, that's an avocado pufferfish.
Wow.
He is a freshwater puffer, not a brackish one, and he's pretty friendly. I can't speak to all puffers, but this one is pretty chill.
Do you have to feed this guy certain special foods?
No, he eats regular food. I just keep snails available to him. I mean, this is one of my primary producers of mystery snails, and so he doesn't do that good of a job.
We got a bunch of neons down here.
Yep, and believe it or not, there is actually over 40 bronze cory cats in here as well.
Wow.
And this tank has 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, 0 nitrates. This thing is just doing its own thing. And there's no floaters in this tank actually either. So this is all, I blame the jungle val, honestly. But, and we got 2 gouramis. We've got an opalescent gourami and a pearl gourami, male and female. They haven't done anything yet, but maybe they will. They're pretty new. We got some baby angelfish. Interesting thing here, this is from the same batch of the angelfish that you saw in the other room.
Yeah.
The reason he's so much smaller, partly due to the fact that he probably doesn't eat quite as much because there's so much more competition. But the temperature in this tank is a bit lower than the other tank, although it's actually pretty warm right now. But in general, this tank hovers at like 77, 78, while the other ones hover at like 81 roughly because I want them to grow faster.
Yeah.
And there's also a beta fish in here as well, and he gets along with everybody else. And
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Very cool. And then you got 2 tanks down here, don't you?
Yeah, we got a pair of albino full red guppies, which haven't done anything for me yet, but hopefully they will, because everyone asks me when I'm selling fish, like, oh, you sell fish? I'm like, yeah. Like, you got any guppies? Well, you'd think that somebody who breeds fish would have the easiest fish to breed, but apparently I don't.
You like the harder stuff.
Yes.
And what are these?
These are Santa Claus guppies, and these are finally breeding for me as well, so I'll be able to answer that question of guppies with a yes very soon here, so pretty excited about that. And humongous amounts of guppy grass as well. So
Yeah, I love guppy grass. It's great.
yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty fun.
This is your fry station?
Yeah, this is basically my Lowell's fish rack station. He is a saint among men, making his fry system and everything else available and at a cheap price. It's I keep subscribing to him because you get updates when he makes them, and it's cheap enough, and I get so much use out of it that at least he deserves a little more than $5 for what I've gotten out of these. But yeah, these are just air uplifts. If you open it up there, you can see there's actually water coming out, and it goes out this side right here. And right now, at the moment, we've got some blue Medaka in that fry tray right here, if you're able to see them.
Yeah, I can barely see them hanging out. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, a little blue Medaka in there.
Very cool.
I wish I could say that I bred them. I will be breeding them, but I bought them at our last auction.
Okay.
These other 3 are empty for now, but they will be filled up probably by this week, honestly. I have been I didn't have extra tanks, and now I've got 2 extra tanks that I added to my fish rack, so I'll actually try to breed something.
And what size of tank is this?
This is a 20-gallon long.
Okay.
20-gallon long is pretty good. I might have wished that I got a 40 breeder. Just kind of depends. It's funny because like right now there's only 1 in use, so these 3 are not being used, and it's like, why do I need all this? And then when all 4 of them are in use, and you now have more baby fish than you know what to do with, then you wish you had the 40. So there you go. And then I've got 2 tanks down here that I haven't done anything with yet. This one is such a nice, pretty 3-gallon tank that at some point I'm going to spend the money to make a beautiful little like bonsai aquascape with shrimp and moss and all that. But in the meantime, I'm far too industrious trying to breed fish and everything else. So
Nice.
what can I say?
And then is this vinegar eels or what's it here?
Yeah, this is some vinegar eels.
Okay.
I had some Walter worm cultures that died before I was able to propagate them. So shame on me. I'll have to buy them again.
You got the little Corey sticker over there.
Yeah,
I
think I just got that from. Where did I get that from? Yeah, I got that from Sarah.
Oh, okay.
You're in the Music City.
Yeah.
Society.
I need to go to the next meeting.
Yeah, because I don't feel like I see you at the meetings.
I've been to one, and then you guys were going to go do a trip or something, and it got
Yes.
canceled, and I didn't realize you were doing a meeting here, so I missed it.
Yeah, I got you.
Are we doing one? Are they doing one?
We're going to be doing one on the 12th because
cool.
they didn't want to do it. On
That's
the weekend
perfect for
of.
me then,
Yep.
because I'm off work that week, so I
Yeah.
can make it.
It's always fun. We're talking about doing a fall swap. Apparently, it's not
Okay.
official yet, but we're all
Might do
talking about it.
It was fun.
The leaders were like, now people have kind of been asking about a fall swap. What do we all kind of think? Let's do like a raise of hands, and the whole room went,
Absolutely.
we want to do it. So we made good arguments, and I volunteered to be on the board to be like, if you guys need help,
I got you.
yeah, let's try to make this happen. Let's do it.
All right, guys, thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment down below. If you have any questions for Daniel, pop them down there, and if he sees them. If he doesn't see them, I'll find out and answer it for you guys. But if he does see it, he'll answer it. And as you can see, I'm going to be showing off different types of fish rooms because every person's budget and setup and space they have is going to be different. And you got to kind of work with each of those metrics. So depending on what your budget is and the space you have, you just have to play around with what you can do in your space. So it was really cool to see how he utilized his space super effectively here. He's breeding a lot of stuff, and he's even now selling on eBay, so you guys can get stuff as well. So had a lot of fun. Thank you for showing this off today. Definitely learned some things. I love the little bobbler setup with the yarn. And then it was cool, too, to see how you're using the Matin filters over there as well. So,
and I would like to encourage everyone out there, because if you guys want to have fish, if you want to breed fish, don't think that this is the only way to do it. As a matter of fact, if you want the cheapest way to do it, get a fish that doesn't require high temperatures. Get a larger tank, you can get like a tub from Home Depot or something like that, and essentially just make a pond. If you have some dirt in there, get some plants from somebody, you could theoretically make a tank and start breeding for like less than $30, $40, depending on who you talk to. And just reach out to us. Like, I'm sure you run into it. I sell pretty much everything that I have, but if you're a local person and you're like, hey man, do you have like any plants that I could get with? There is always some kind of plant or snails or something like that that is complete garbage to us, more or less. So if you asked me for some snails and some frog bit, for example, I'd be happy to let you have it, especially if you're just trying to get started. So
100%, guys. People in the fish community, especially out here, everybody I've met, super cool, super friendly, and like he said, you can get a lot of free fish, plants, snails, shrimp. Sometimes it's kind of crazy. People are very generous, willing to support and help you out. So you can definitely make this hobby whatever type of budget you want, and just go on Facebook, look up Facebook fish groups wherever you're at. If you're out here in Nashville, we got the Nashville Fish Keepers, we got the Music City Aquarium Society. You said the next meeting for the Aquarium Society was when?
The Music City Aquarium Society is going to be July 12th is what I saw. Definitely look up the Facebook group and join the Discord. It's a great time.
Yeah, a lot of really knowledgeable people, super friendly, had a lot of fun. I've only been to one so far, but I'm going to be going to the next one. I missed the last one, unfortunately. So had a lot of fun. That's where I got my pygmy sunfish.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was super cool. Good time. And then I saw somebody had brought from Alabama, like zebra plecos.
Yes.
My wife's been wanting those, but we got to get a perfect setup before we buy those.
Yes. So. According to what's been going on with keeping fish simple, I would be terrified.
Yeah, he's had some bad luck recently. So.
Yes.
thank you guys for watching. As always, like, comment, and share this video if you enjoyed it. Give him a follow. He has his eBay account. What is it one more time?
Fisher's Fish Room on eBay.
Perfect. Fisher's Fish Room on eBay. You guys want to buy any of his bronze cories or whatever else he posts on there, go check him out. Go support local and help him out, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. Peace.
What's up, yo?
Buddy.
Need some fish, bro?
Oh, God.
Then you gotta go to the 10-gallon fish pro. 10-gallon, yeah. Fish tanks, yeah. 10-gallon, yeah. Fish tanks. All day, all day, all day long. Green shrimp, blue shrimp, yellow shrimp too. Green shrimp, orange shrimp, and a snowball zoo. We got fish, y'all. We got fish, dog. We got it all. Tuxedo koi, guppy, white cloud, minnow, long fin, white cloud, pygmy corridora, panda cory, stir by cory, albino cory, coolie loach, green cuba, tyrus boris, celestial pearl danio, and emerald dwarfers bora, pea puffer, clown, killie, sparkling goat or me.